Good morning. Happy Saturday, y'all. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Cooking with JW's. Happy Saturday morning, pop up. And let's see what's happening. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Still time. I can take the medication and a good old cup of Joe. Oh, that Joe is good. That Joe is good. Let's kick it with my girls.
We have some major breaking news coming. Whether you have money or not, you should buy one for your.
Tell you what, girls, I've had it. Let's see what they've had it with today.
Breaking news coming out of Minnesota. A new camera angle in the execution and murder of Renee Good has been released by Alpha News. And this blows a hole right through all of the lies of the federal agents. The wife or partner of Renee Good was out of the car filming the ICE agents, and this shows that angle. And it looks to me like she implied, because these ICE agents were being so provocative and terrorizing them, that he was a fat goon, and that's when he pulled his gun. This is very horrible to watch, and you will see Renee Good right before she was shot, who was trying to get away from the scene. Her last words before she was murdered in cold blood, and you'll see this on the video, watch for this, is, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." Play the clip.
No, that was straight murder. Damn, these ICE agents.
When you come talk to us later. That's fine. You have citizens. You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead. Out the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the
car.
So you can see Renee Good in that video saying, "That's fine, I'm not mad," complying. Her partner or wife, I'm not sure if their marital status, was saying, "Why don't you go get yourself some lunch, big boy?" These are the women that the federal government, you see that they are not armed, they are putting the phones out, trying to, as a means of verification and chronicling what is happening in real time, I would think, to prevent crimes. Why do you have your phone out to say, "Hey, if you do this, buddy, it's on tape"? And the last words that Renee Good said to this guy is, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you." And they race the car, and they're telling her, "Get out of the fucking car," because she called him a big boy. And that's how emotionally stunted and horrible these people
the
are.
Snowflakes
a difficult time
with guns.
Coming up with the right words to describe the Trump administration. Cruel, diabolical, nefarious, inhuman, don't really seem to capture the depravity of the way these people are. They do not see the largest portion of the United States, a larger majority than they are, as human beings. This video is so alarming to me.
Well, and you look, I've been watching and reading every single law on the books, whether it's an administrative law or a statute, says that you do not have the right, even as a federal law enforcement officer or a policeman, to put your gun in someone's face and shoot them while they're in the car. You're supposed to back up. She wasn't trying to hit anybody. It's vile, and I think the best word to describe the Trump administration, in my opinion, is murderous. They are just as murderous as any. Now, let me back that up. I know the United States has participated all over the world in murder, but we are murdering people willy-nilly with zero reason, due process. And here's the deal. So now if you say somebody is a big boy, it's justifiable homicide. Is that where we are?
Because they're
Well, and
snowflakes.
here's the situation.
They
If you're
weak.
law
They're
enforcement,
weak.
You're gonna find yourself where people talk smack to you. Similarly, if you play professional sports or if you play grade school sports, people talk smack. You have to be a big enough boy to take it and diffuse this situation because you're the professional in that situation. If you get triggered because somebody says, why don't you go have some lunch, big boy? And now the federal government is describing those words as somehow terroristic. These people were provocateurs. Renee Good, again, she says, that's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. She's smiling. She's kind of like, okay, dude. And they're like, we're American citizens. And these guys saw, these are lesbians. How dare her talk to me like that? And these are these pink arm, low T, little dick energy style men that gravitate towards MAGA, where their leader, their idealized form of masculinity is Donald Trump, a man who wears a full face of makeup every single day, blares Phantom of the Opera as loud as he can possibly get it, and engages in, a lot of interior design projects. Now, listen, I'm not one of these binary gender people. I think men can wear makeup if they want to. They can be creative and be in architecture and design. I don't take issue with that. It's their side that does. It's their side that has a whole propaganda news channel, Fox News, where Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld, just all they do is talk about masculine men. And speaking of that, and I know this is very alarming, so I want to leave you all as we head into the weekend with a little bit of entertainment on top of all of this. I wanted to play this video of these 3 straight MAGA men discussing nicknames and pornography. Play the clip.
Fair point.
That voice you've been hearing is the 56th Speaker of the House. We call you Magic Mike when you're not here. We'll call you Magic Mike while you are here.
I prefer Miracle. Magic Mike is assigned to some sort of pornography thing or something. I've heard.
Are you sure you don't want it?
I don't want
Okay.
that one.
Mike Johnson, the Speaker. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, just 3 straight dudes talking about, nicknames and stuff, right? There's some butch. Testosterone just oozed off the screen of me with that, with Scott Jennings and little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, whoever else that other pink armed dweeb was standing there. So I was like, Magic Mike, I was thinking when they first said Michael Jordan or Mike Tyson or something, right? But much to my surprise, little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson says that it's some sort of pornography reference. So I immediately went to Google and Googled Magic Mike. So I'm like, what is this magical Mike porn that I'm missing out on? And this was the first image that popped up. Okay. You guys, this is what popped up on my Google. I just entered Magic Mike. I didn't put Magic Mike porn. I didn't do anything. I just put Magic Mike. All right. For those of you that are listening, it is 5 men, very attractive, very cut, very buff, with no tops on, with ties, cowboy hats, and tight breeches, doing jazz hands and other things. And it's really revealing to me that little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, the minute he heard Magic Mike, immediately he revealed to all of us that in his spank bank is that poster for the film or the musical or whatever it is, Magic Mike. This is the man who talks about pornography all the time. This is a man who talks about Jesus Christ a lot. This is a man who monitors his son's porn. This is a man who took his daughter to a purity ball, in a very weird, only
Purity
evangelicals do
ball.
this.
Wow.
They don't teach their children autonomy. They don't teach them about boundaries, and they start talking to them about their sex lives before they even have hormones. Moses Mike Grinder Johnson put a ring on his daughter's finger regarding her virginity, a purity ring. And so when
Wow,
he
that's
hears
deep.
Magic Mike, the first association, pop this up one more time, Kylie. The first association that the Speaker House has is this. And now listen, Moses, Little Moses Mike. I think they're hot too. I do. I think those men are hot. I think those guys are attractive. I certainly understand how, when rubber hits the road, Mr. Speaker, I certainly understand that your brain could go there. I've seen the body language between you and your wife on Katie Miller's Fireside Chats with White Nationalist podcast. I saw that. I saw how you were like completely made this way from her body language. I saw the repulsion. The thing is, we don't care. Like, when rubber hits the road, if you like to think about all 5 of those men from Magic Mike, I'm a heterosexual woman. I get it. They're hot. It's a free country. All right. But always these MAGA men, they just reveal and constantly show us all of the gay thoughts that they have all the time. Like the Fab Five on Fox. All they do is talk about, these straight men talk about masculine things that alphas do, which is like, I don't sit around and go, well, that's so feminine, when a woman is like this and does that and moves her head this way, because we don't talk about that because we're into men, all right? And so I certainly understand his draw to this, but I don't think we can let this slide. I mean, I just think this is breaking news. He has a type, and now we know what they look like. Kylie, pop it up one more time just for spite.
For spite.
And Magic Mike, that's the first thing he thought about. That's a Florida porn.
Here's the deal. I've seen the advertisements. I've seen the movie. I didn't see the movie, but I saw the previews. I saw all that. When they said Magic Mike, I was like, just because it was like, oh, he's so great. When he said about the porn, I like spit out water. I was just like, why did your head go there?
Because he diarrhea mouthed it.
Yeah.
That's in his spank bank.
Diarrhea mouth.
That for him is porn. Probably in his mind, if you watch us that versus like hardcore, it's a little bit not as satanic in his crazy evangelical mind. And so he immediately went to porn because this is porn for him. This is that to me, it was such a overt Freudian slip, if you will. I mean, this is really, really telling.
I wonder, that covenant eyes that he and his teenage son go back and forth monitoring each other's phones. I wonder if it flags Magic Mike.
I
Or
don't
if he
think
gets
so.
away with it.
It's probably a pun intended here, reach around. It's probably a reach around on the porn monitoring. So he's probably like, okay, how can I watch porn that's not porn? Oh, these hot guys from Magic Mike. Pop it up again, Kylie. How many years do I want to live?
Magic Mike. He likes porn. All right, y'all. Welcome to my listening news pop up. This Cup of Joe listening news pop up, y'all. This Cup of Joe is so good. So good. Just listening, going around listening to some news, y'all.
They are. That Miracle Mike. Okay, and then I just thought that was just something to lead us into the weekend thinking about, because that was a real moment, you guys. That he immediately, don't call me Magic Mike. That's linked to pornography. I prefer Miracle Mike.
I prefer most.
So, all right, this is going viral all over the internet, and our Kylie, our millennial producer, brought this to our attention. The Doomsday plane is flying apparently. U.S. Doomsday plane is spotted landing in Washington, D.C., triggering concern amid global tension. So here's my issue with this. In normal times, if you have a normal president, I'm sure sometimes these planes, they've got to get the bird in the air, and there's, things they have to do to make, drills or whatever. Because we're living in such unprecedented times and we have such a deranged, psychotic government, something like this comes up and all of the American public is like, oh God, what are they gonna do next? Lack of
Right.
emotional safety that we feel as a nation, the lack of security that we feel that the government should provide for us. When we just saw the first video of this, we just saw ICE agents kill somebody.
Mhm.
And then, you go from that to these three fine Christian men who immediately start talking about gay porn. They're not gonna put up a stop in this because they're too busy covering up their own secrets. And then you've got the doomsday plane up there circling around, and it's really stressful right now being an American when we have all these just deplorable, dishonest, lying leaders.
Well, they're all sadistic, and I would put nothing past any of, like, if you told me that Trump was boarding the doomsday plane and he was going to, set fire to American cities, blue cities, I would not be shocked.
Right.
It's just, that would not be outside the realm of what he's capable of. Because, his own morality is what controls him, and we know he has fucking zero morality.
Zero morality.
Yeah. Okay, and then he will not. Mike Johnson won't shut up about porn, and the President of the United States won't shut up about the Nobel Peace Prize. He will not shut up. Here he is last night on Sean Hannity talking about the Nobel Peace Prize yet again.
Oh my God.
Let me ask you about Maria Corina Machado. I've had her on TV this week.
Yeah, she's a very nice person.
Okay, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. When she accepted that Peace Prize, she dedicated it to you. She said to me this week, both on TV and radio, that she wants to give the Nobel Prize, her Nobel Peace Prize, to you for liberating her country.
You haven't
In
liberated shit.
2023, she won over 92% of the vote to be the leader of the opposition. Maduro kept her off the ballot. Do you have any plans to meet with her? And would you accept the Nobel Prize she wants to hand
Jesus.
to you?
Well, I understand she's coming in next week sometime. And I look forward to saying hello to her, and I've heard that she wants to do that. That'd be a great honor. I did put out 8 wars, 8.25, because Thailand and Cambodia started going at it again.
I'll put the
Sure, why not? 8.25.
8.25 wars. You put out no wars.
Stopped 8 wars.
Stop
Just put
nothing.
them out like fires, like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what Norway has to do with it, but that's where the committee is located. A lot of Norwegian people.
Yeah.
And it's been a very big embarrassment to the country
Sure.
of Norway. Whether they have anything to do with it or not, I think they do. They say they don't.
Yeah, throw them in there.
You put out
Why not?
wars in theory, you should get one for each war, okay? Because some of these wars were going on for 30
Sure.
years.
Sure. Yeah, throw Norway in. Let's throw in New York City. Let's go ahead and throw in, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. Let's throw in Obama. Let's say it was a grand collusion with Norway where everybody prevented the man who quote, put out 8.25 wars. Just the stupidity. You
I
are the
know,
leader of
right?
a country who is building concentration camps, murdering citizens, kidnapping leaders of, and of course, Maduro's horrible. Letting Russia have a free pass to bomb Ukraine with impunity. You are an accelerant. You are a war accelerant. Everybody hates you. And I would imagine his approval rating in Norway has got to be in the single digits, if even that. And so, him rambling there. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you guys, here's what's going to happen. She's going to come to the United States. And we're all going to be tortured watching her give him her Nobel Peace Prize.
God, I hope she doesn't do that.
No, it's going to happen. And he's going to smile, and then he's going to bash Norway. And he's going to, cricket Joe Biden, and he's going to talk about the election. He's going to talk about how many wars he, quote, put out. And these are the things that he wishes to accomplish. And while he does this, Stephen Miller is unleashing Kristi Noem to murder citizens of the United States of America and non-citizens just to murder people. And Moses Mike Grinder Johnson is doubled up with Scott Jennings talking about porn for us to have a Congress. That's what they're doing. Scott Jennings and Moses Mike Grinder Johnson are having fireside porn chats. And this asshole is sitting down with Sean Hannity going on about how he's going to take Maria's Peace Prize, and he's mad at Norway. We can add that to the list of 5 billion grievances that this old queen has. And then the Daily Beast is reporting that the Nobel Peace Prize, put this up, Kelly. First of all, love the Daily Beast. You crushed it. You crushed it with that photograph there. It says Nobel Institute torpedoes loser Trump's desperate plot for his own prize. Great headline too. Excellent. A+, no notes on that. And here's a little excerpt from this article. Within hours, however, Trump's hopes were dashed by those damn Norwegians and the Nobel Institute, which said its rules do not permit the passing of its coveted prize to someone else.
All right.
Fuck it. Fuck it. If it doesn't permit it, it doesn't matter. We have a constitution. That doesn't matter to him. So she, regardless of them saying she can't pass it over, she will. She's going to give it to him.
Here's the thing, and I know I say it all the time, but why is he not embarrassed to say that he wants a re-gifted Nobel Peace Prize? Why is Sean Hannity not embarrassed that he's allegedly on a news station asking if someone will give their Nobel Peace Prize to this fucking low titty baby with cankles the size of my head because he's crying around like a fucking victim? I know you can't shame the shameless. That to me is the ultimate testament to fucking absolute, total, low T, little dick energy. If you want a prize and said, no, I want to give it to Angie, I'd be like, it's yours. I want you to have it. I'm not going to go talk.
I don't want your sloppy seconds of your prize.
I do not want your sloppy seconds. Nobody likes a regift. Nobody likes sloppy seconds. He fucking loves it. He can't get it. I mean, he will have, I know his circulation is such you probably can't get a hard on, but if he could, when she hands him that trophy, he's like, oh my gosh, I did it. I mean, it's so crazy to me.
He won't do that. He'll stand there and he will indignantly accept it. He will bet, well, Norway really botched this up, and I know that they're behind it too. I know that the Peace Prize is in Norway, but I think the government is behind it, and I also think I won the 2020 election and sleepy Joe Biden. He'll indignantly accept it, and she will have to sit there and just pile on this effusive praise about how great he is, and he should.
God, don't
she
say it.
dedicated him, but she decided that wasn't enough. The dedication wasn't enough. She needed to actually give it to him, or we're all going to have to sit through another show and tell presentation for our toddler, diaper wearing, embarrassing president. And you were asking, why wasn't Sean Hannity embarrassed asking that question? Why is he embarrassed? And what I want, another question I want to add to this interrogation that we have going on in our imaginary interrogation list is I want to ask Scott Jennings and Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, why are you guys sitting around talking about porn? It's fine if y'all want to, but maybe when cameras are running, maybe it's not profesh. I don't know. I don't have a problem with porn. I don't. I mean, as long as these people are unionized, paid, and everything's consenting. I'm not a prude, moral high ground type person. I just think it's interesting that Scott Jennings is facilitating conversations with Miracle Moses Mike Grinder Johnson, wherein he pulls out what his type is and what kind of porn he watches. And let's just leave the viewer with what floats Miracle Mike, Moses Mike, Grinder Johnson's boat. This is the reach around. This is the one that he's able to access without it alerting his teenage son, who they have a porn exchange with. And so this is it. And so remember how his wife said in the fireside chats with Nazi white nationalist Katie Miller's podcast, remember how she said,
men can just compartmentalize, like men's brains work better than women's and they can compartmentalize.
Oh
And,
my God.
they can compartmentalize this and this. And what I have to say to Mrs. Miracle Moses Meidranger Johnson, is you nailed it, sis. You sure can compartmentalize and we get it. Scott Jennings brilliantly, and I think accidentally, goaded it out of him. And so I think Scott Jennings could start a podcast, how to out the proclivities of closeted MAGA men. I think that would be a banger. I'd watch it. I'd watch every episode. Yeah. All right, that's all we have. Some humor mixed with horrible news. I think it's the only way we're gonna.
I know. Horrible. Okay. Okay, the governor's calling a card. Who's that? Governor of Minnesota. All right, Tim Walz.
In this America, a traffic stop coupled with proper First Amendment expression is not supposed to lead to your execution at the hands of a federal officer. You are not supposed to get the death penalty by being shot in the face 3 times because ICE officers don't like the fact they got to get out of their car and ask you to move yours during an ICE operation in Minnesota. And the fact that the Trump administration has automatically sided with and celebrated the actions of the officer, Jonathan Ross. Not only that, they've taken the video from his cell phone camera that he was filming. He was filming a cell phone camera video, all right? Just moments before he dropped the cell phone camera, as we see in another video, and pulled out his service revolver and shot Rebecca Good in the face in front of her wife, in front of her dog in the back seat. Rather than do the appropriate thing, if you wanted to cite the person or you wanted to arrest the person, you don't do it at the end of a gun. I'm Michael Popok. The new video and the mumbling and cursing under their breath by the ICE agents calling Rebecca Good an effing B only demonstrates more evidence that her civil rights were taken from her and her life was extinguished by the Trump ICE. In addition to that, we've got new reporting besides all of the new video that is out. We've got new reporting about Jonathan Ross. Turns out he's a little bit trigger happy. Turns out he's a little bit suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder because he had another altercation with another person during an arrest attempt where that person dragged him 100 yards with his car after being fired at by this ICE officer's or agent's stun gun. He came off of that, went back on the road as opposed to being taken off the road for psychological evaluation, and then had the interaction with Rebecca Good. And by the way, that ICE officer wasn't even the officer that was trying to apprehend her. There was another officer on the door handle who had the matters under control. When Rebecca Good tried to drive away from the conflict, not towards it, she didn't quote unquote clip the ICE agent, as
No.
right-wing MAGA media has said. In fact, video from the New York Times showed he wasn't even in the line or the path of the car as she pulled to the right and away. And now we've got the new reporting that Jonathan Ross is probably suffering from some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Thank
has not been
you.
properly
Thank you
trained
for that
on
light.
how to interact and de-escalate in a situation. And if ICE wasn't on that street doing Lord knows what, while First Amendment protesters weren't ringing them, then Rebecca Good would be alive today. I'm
Exactly.
Michael Popok. Tomorrow, Keith Ellison, the Attorney General for Minnesota, is going to join us, give us an exclusive briefing to our audience about what Minnesota is doing to provide some measure of justice and dignity for the death of Rebecca Good at the hands of federal ICE. And one of the things they're asking for is anyone in the vicinity who has video of the incident to provide it to the Minnesota Bureau of Investigation. They have to resort to crowdsourcing their evidence because they have been blocked from getting access to the FBI evidence because the FBI is not investigating the matter. The FBI is covering up the matter. This is yet another Trump scandal stench cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
We have one of those about every other day with this administration.
No, every day,
And
Popok,
it's
every
gotten
day.
so bad. Wait for this one, folks. The governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, has had to call out the state militia effectively to protect American citizens from their own government. I'm Michael Popok. We got to talk about these things on Friday afternoon here on Legal AF, and you need to tune in
That's
tomorrow
what you
for
do.
my exclusive interview with the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, Keith Ellison. Let's get into the story and all the new information that we have. Donald Trump and the White House believe that if they put up a video taken from Jonathan Ross, who they're obviously not only siding with, but they're circling the wagons around, trying to insulate him from liability instead of doing a fair and transparent investigation. What is it about this administration and their inability to do what is right, what is just, what is moral in this time of grief for the family of Rebecca Good?
Oh, I'll have another
And now
cup of Joe.
protests are hitting the streets in America as they should, because she is going to be, even though that was not her intention, the day she woke up, the day she went down, the day she was with her wife and her dog to go protest ICE in the streets of Minnesota. It was not her intention to be a martyr. It was not her intention that she be the leader of a movement, but she is now. The way that George Floyd was, the way that Rodney King was, we now have to talk about Rebecca Good. This is about good versus evil in this Trump administration. The New York Times had a good video array of that they created that shows that what Kristi Noem said was a lie. What J.D. Vance, the vice president, welcome back to society, by the way, after you skipped out during the Venezuela takeover. What he said was a lie. What Donald Trump wrote in social media postings was a lie. Let me show you now the video from the New York Times so you can see all of the angles and note what happened here, right? Note what happened here. I'll give you a preview first, and I'll show you the video. On a side street, icy side street, you've got ICE in numerous vehicles. You've got Rebecca Good, her wife, a car, a dog, other people blowing whistles, calling attention to ICE's operations on the street. Rebecca Good turns her car sideways to make it more difficult for ICE to navigate down the street. They're not stuck in the snow. They're not rammed by Rebecca Good, which is what Kristi Noem claimed. They're not, she's not a domestic terrorist. She's a 37-year-old mother that's out fighting against a corrupt regime. At that point, we now know from other video from Jonathan Ross, who is filming around the car, that he has an interaction with Rebecca Good's wife. Okay? He may not like it. He might have found it to be challenging, you know, where she called him big boy, you better have lunch, and all of that. And then, you know, sort of ridiculing him. But is that a death sentence for her wife? He comes around the side of the car still filming, while one of his ICE colleagues says, effing get out of the car, and heads towards the car. Angry, upset, adrenaline rushing, right? Not thinking clearly, not trained properly in de-escalation. He doesn't want to de-escalate, he wants to escalate. And then he reaches for the handle of the door, reaches in to unlock it, has the situation relatively under control, right? Now the Jonathan Ross comes around the side with a cell phone camera. He's not in the line of collision. He's not in the path. And she, because I think the wife yells, you know, drive, baby, drive, she starts to turn the wheel to move slowly away from the officers. That's when Jonathan Ross drops his cell phone, picks up his weapon, and fires in her face. That's what happened. Okay? And we know it from a 360-degree video array. Let me first show you what Kristi Noem had to say about this, watching the same video that we're about to watch. Here's what she had to say.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an
That's an
enforcement
act
action.
of
They
domestic
decided to snow
terrorism.
because of the
You
adverse
fucking
weather that was in
cosplaying
Minneapolis. They were
stupid,
attempting
bitch.
to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them. And
A
those
woman
surrounding
attacked them in
attempted
her
to run
cars.
them over and ram them with their vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the
God
people
damn.
around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day.
They showing the
These
fucking
vehicle
video while you
rammings are
fucking
domestic
standing there
acts of
lying.
terrorism.
Now let me show you the video. Let's play the New York Times compilation.
God, the lies.
On Wednesday, in Minneapolis, a federal agent fatally shot a motorist, 37-year-old
Oh.
Renee Nicole Good. Trump administration officials said these were, quote, defensive shots fired because the officer was being run over.
And a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over.
But our analysis of bystander footage, filmed from different angles, appears to show the agent was not in the path of the victim's SUV when he fired 3 shots at close range.
Oh,
Here's how events unfolded. Moments before the shooting, the victim's maroon SUV is stopped in the middle of the street. Multiple unmarked federal vehicles are idling nearby. Secretary Noem alleged the motorist, quote, was blocking the officers in. Bystanders are blowing whistles and yelling at federal agents.
Go home to Texas!
Then, federal vehicles start moving toward the
thank
maroon
you for
SUV
that like, yo.
with sirens and lights blaring. A federal agent films the scene on his phone. The driver rolls forward slightly, turning left, then stops and waits for others to go ahead. 2 agents exit this silver pickup and walk toward the vehicle. Moments later, shots are fired. Let's look at the scene again more closely. This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle. One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun. He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment
Motherfucker.
the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from the agent. This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer. President Trump and others said the federal agent was hit by the SUV, often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle. And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV. The SUV crashes into a white car parked down the road. A bystander runs toward the collision. The federal agents on scene do not appear to rush to provide emergency medical care. Eventually, the agent who shot the motorist approaches the vehicle. Seconds later, he turns back around and tells his colleagues to call 911.
Shame! You shot someone! You shot someone!
Agents block several bystanders who attempt to provide medical care, including one who identifies himself as a physician.
I don't check a pulse! No! Back up! Now! I'm a physician! I don't understand.
At the same time, several agents, including the agent who opened fire, get in their vehicles and drive off, apparently altering the active crime scene.
God damn. Pure fucking murder. Oh, God, it is. Oh, I wish I could just position it so you guys could see this. But I'm sure it's all over. I'm sure this has went viral. As opposed to what the administration is lying about. They have actual footage of what actually happened. And they want us not to believe our lying eyes. Motherfuckers. Unbelievable.
Then, J.D. Vance, decides that he's not only going to declare that Jonathan Ross has absolute immunity, which is completely wrong from a legal perspective, and I'll explain why in a moment, but takes a shot at mainstream media, which continues to report this story inaccurately, on purpose, to support the Trump administration. I think that's the first place. Trying to hit Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent, with the car. That is a lie. You can see it in the video I just played. So if the justification is she, a domestic terrorist, tried to ram the ICE agent and fighting for his life, he reached out and fired into her face, that's a lie, as you have just seen. Let's play J.D. Vance lying to the American people.
When I was actually
I line the
walking out
wham,
here,
bitch.
somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline, I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace. And
You are a disgrace because you got caught lying because there's actual footage of what happened, you crazy, sick, fucking.
Dragged by a car.
Oh, God, they so fucking terrible.
Like, so you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there
what
to
you
interfere
just.
with a legitimate law enforcement
Ooh.
operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network.
Oh, God, there go the left wing
To
shit.
assault and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job.
Shut up,
If the media
fucker.
wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth.
They are telling the truth.
Left-wing radicals have
That's
been
why the
working
photos are out. The
sometimes using
footage is
domestic
out,
terror
bitch.
techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with
You
ICE.
fucking
I
idiot.
stand with ICE. We stand with all
These
of our law
motherfuckers
enforcement
have
officers.
no shame
And part of
at
that
all
is
and will
recognizing
double
you people in the
down.
media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room
Oh, my
have been
goodness.
lying about this attack. She was
You're
trying to ram this guy.
no, the fuck
with
she
his
wasn't,
car.
bitch.
He shot back. He defended
He
himself.
shot back.
He's already been
She didn't have a
seriously wounded in
fucking
law
gun.
enforcement
He
operations before, and
shot back.
Everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourself. Every single one of you. Questions?
Now, we know all of that is a lie because we have
The
Jonathan
footage.
Ross video, which the Trump administration has released as if it exonerates him. Quite the contrary. It shows he had no right to do this, and him mumbling under his breath, F and B, is not going to help his criminal case against him, or his civil rights case that lawyers are going to bring on her behalf. Let's play that video.
That's okay, we don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. US citizens, full of fucking stuff. You want tomatoes? You want tomatoes? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Okay.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Now, he does not have absolute immunity for what just happened. The federal government is not going to prosecute him because in order to do that, they'd have to admit that something went awry, something went criminally awry in Minnesota. And since Minnesota, they hold up as a place that they need to use as a foil to try to defeat Democratic ideals and defeat the governor there, they'll never admit it. So they'll circle the wagons and no DOJ prosecutor, nobody in Minnesota, District of Minnesota, U.S. Attorney's Office is going to prosecute. So that leaves it to the Attorney General of of Minnesota, Keith Ellison, who again will be with us tomorrow.
Get him, Ellison.
And
Get
local
that fucker.
prosecutors. Now they'll run up against a sovereign immunity problem, a federal officer immunity problem, which means they'll need to indict with whatever evidence they can collect from us. We are going to have to help Minnesota.
We the people.
We're going to have to crowdsource and crowdfund the evidence because they're not getting access to it. And they're getting blocked by the FBI on behalf of Donald Trump to cover up what happened.
Cover up a murder.
And Minnesota Bureau of Investigation are going to have to leap into action, which they're doing now to reconstruct it. The New York Times and other video is helping, but they're not going to get an interview. They're not going to be able to, the DNA is going to be difficult. And from that, they're going to have to be ballsy and go for an indictment in state court. Then that officer is going to argue that he's got some sort of immunity and try to transfer the case over to federal court under federal officer
That ain't gonna happen.
removal
Get that
statutes.
fucker.
Once
Get him
there,
off the
they'll
street.
argue immunity, but it's not absolute. I don't know what J.D. Vance is talking about or what law school he went to. He must have got his law license from a Cracker Jack box. It's called qualified immunity. There's two components of it. One is, was the person acting within the color of his authority? It's arguable. I mean, you're not supposed to shoot people in the face, maybe at the tires to disable them. Maybe take their license plate and go find them later and arrest them. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
But I think they'll probably pass the federal officer part. Then it turns to, was the conduct or the use of force reasonable? No. This is unreasonable use of force. Cursing on the way in and cursing the dead body of Rebecca Good kind of proves it, don't you think? That's a civil rights violation. That will be both a criminal case and a civil case brought by the family of Rebecca Good, her wife primarily, and children against the federal government, and let them go fight it out in court about immunity. That's a case I'd be happy to help on and help with, and I know our Legal AF community will support. So tune in tomorrow for the exclusive interview here on Legal AF with Attorney General Keith Ellison, joining Legal AF to brief our audience.
All right. And that's all I have, folks. And thank you for the likes. And see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Keep your head up. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. Be careful. And I'm out. Bye-bye.